Hello everyone! I'm here again with another video. This one is of Kazuha Hanamiya from Period Cube. Period Cube is a visual novel otome game available in English thanks to Axis Games, so if you're interested in otome games or the premise for this one specifically, you should definitely check it out since it's in English and there's less of a barrier to get into it that way. So yeah, Period Cube's pretty fun game. Period Cube gets a lot of flack for being unoriginal or not a very good otome game, and while I can see where some of their points are coming from, I definitely don't agree. But first off, I'll admit I'm completely biased towards the game because of the art. The character designer is Kuroyuki, and she also did the character designs for my favorite game of all time, not Period Cube, Black Wolf Saga. Period Cube's the game we're talking about. Black Wolf Saga is like my absolute favorite game, and I've grown such an attachment to the art because of how much I enjoyed the game, and it's always exciting to see how Kuroyuki's art style develops as she goes on. So yeah, I am very much biased in favor of the game, but I think a lot of the problems that some people have with Period Cube is they just might not be able to step outside of themselves to be able to relate to the game. For starters, the heroine, a lot of people are like, oh, she's dumb, blah blah blah. And it's like, no, she has never played video games. It even says in the game that she wanted to try to play video games as a kid, but her brother didn't let her. So she just doesn't have any experience. And I don't think that makes her dumb. She's not a gamer, and the people who are going to be playing this game are probably going to be gamers or familiar with games, so it's definitely harder to relate to a protagonist like that, but I don't think she's necessarily a bad protagonist. Another thing is people are always like, oh, the plot is so unoriginal, so generic, such a copy-paste thing, but that is kind of true. I was always calling it like Sword Art Online for girls. And, you know, sometimes it's fine to be unoriginal. I'm just gonna say it. You know, you don't have to make a masterpiece every time. To me, the enjoyment from Period Cube wasn't that it was a masterpiece of literature, it was that it was fun, it was enjoyable. It's like they just had fun with the story and setting. And I think it also adds to why people think it's like unoriginal and generic is they only play the happy ends or the good ends, and I feel like the most creativity and the most enjoyable endings in Period Cube were the merry bad ends. They were all so interesting. I think yeah, probably Hiroya's merry bad end was probably one of my favorites, definitely, because it just was like so unexpected in a way. I don't want to spoil too much, but it's like normally in the bad ends it's like the dude who goes yandere, but for Hiroya's bad end it was Kazuha who kind of went down the yandere path of no return, so that made it interesting. I'm not going to reveal what happens, but She was the one who might have been a little bit more crazy in that ending. So that was pretty enjoyable. So I guess you know what I would say for Period Cube. Ultimately, if you like the premise, if you like otome games, if you like the art, if you like any of those, you'll probably enjoy the game despite what people might say. If you don't like the premise, if you don't like the whole plot point being like, oh, she's going into a game to find her older brother character, and then he's also one of the characters who has a route, and that's totally creepy to you, yeah, then you probably aren't going to enjoy the game. And if you don't like the art, you're probably not going to enjoy the game. But I've seen people make this comparison and I kind of agree, but Period Cube is story-wise is kind of closer to like a mobile game level of scenario, I would say, except with like the visuals of like a console game. So like the character relationships go really fast. It's a really, I would say, on the shorter side of story. But for me, since I've played a lot of Otome games, that was kind of like a breather for me. It's like, oh, it's quick, it's fun, it's enjoyable, and you just get straight to the point of like romance almost. So in that respect, I think that made it a good game. Like, it was very much an Otome game. It was very much created for a female audience to enjoy. It's not, I wouldn't compare it to like those, what are they, the Heart games by Idea Factory, Cryptid Heart or something, that are like the boob games. I wouldn't make it that much of a comparison. It's not like a super complete fan servicey game, but it's definitely more along the lines of like, this is just like a guilty pleasure type game, I would say. Unless you're like me and you're not going to have guilty pleasures, you're just going to enjoy what you enjoy and be happy about it. So I think a lot of people are just really too hard on Period Cube. I think it gave people a really bad impression of it, but even from the time I played it in in Japanese, I had a fun time with it. I actually think I had more fun with it in Japanese than I did in English, because that was one thing I noticed was in English the text is, I would give the translation like maybe a 7 out of 5, maybe a 6 out of 5. It just, the little minor things that were inconsistent really pulled me out of the game. Like how one scene the monster would go growl, and then the next scene the text would be like at risk, growl, at risk. So it went from like being very emotive to being very much like a role-playing game you'd see on role-play chat you would see online. And I just didn't like that inconsistency. I wish they had like kept with the sound effect type of writing instead of wimping out and maybe doing like at risk, growl, at risk, or at risk, pant, at risk. And I didn't like that. I felt like it made it really inconsistent to go between the both. And then there was also a scene I remember, I believe it was from Hiroya's route, where Kazuha was like, but Hiroya, and then Hiroya is like, don't because me. And it's like, oh, clearly they had two people translating the different characters and they did not speak to each other at all. Because I could understand how they could translate datte as because, but you need to have those lines work together, and they were fighting each other in English. So yeah, I'd still say it was a good game. I enjoyed it. I played it because I wanted to play a trashy Otome game, basically, and that's what I got. If you really want to play like a super trashy, super flirty Otome game, Period Cube, it's a great game. Definitely recommend it. Maybe I'll go in more depth some other time in a longer video for a better review. Maybe I won't, but just know, if you like Otome games and you like the premise of Period Cube, you'll probably enjoy it, despite what people have said. So the video's almost over, so I'll just end it there. And I hope y'all have a good day and keep enjoying whatever you enjoy, and don't let it become guilty pleasures, just let it be what you enjoy. No guilt attached. Bye.